Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to crumble!
I'm Joshua Kemble, and welcome to Joshua Kemble's Livestream. I've been a freelance illustrator and graphic designer for over 20 years. I was an art director for 9 years. And when I'm not art directing and working on illustrations and graphic designs, I'm working on comic books and graphic novels, and that's usually what I do during my streams. And while conversations can go all over the place on this stream, from spicy and entertaining to goofy and silly, one thing stays consistent throughout every stream. I'll always be working on art. So pull up a chair, get your art supplies out, and get ready for an entertaining show that'll keep you company while you work on your own personal art projects. This is Joshua Kemble's Art Stream. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my live stream. This is episode 397. I'm Joshua Kemble. I'm going to be working on the graphic novel Not Death But Love, the Strange Supernatural Story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning. I'm going to be working on that very shortly. And so, I'm actually pretty excited about getting into comics. It's been a really crazy week. Like Thursday, I decided not to work on comics or stay up late because I had like an observation kind of thing at work. And then, and I was like, I need to be really well rested for that. And then the next day I've been doing, work full time and then school full time. So I kind of allowed myself to like barely kind of work on something. So that gave me like a day off. And then today, I was just beat, completely exhausted. So I spent a lot of today just kind of relaxing or napping, and I didn't get a lot of work done, which is crazy because I've been like insanely productive in the last few days. So needless to say, I got my workout done. I got, which is something that is a big goal of mine. So I've been consistently working out. I got that done today. I did my 15 minutes of music. I'll probably share with you guys a little bit of that next song. If you guys didn't know, my new album is out, and it's called Stumbling Blindly Onto the Road. And I actually really like the album. I've heard good things from people who've listened to it, so you should check it out. It's on Spotify, it's on Apple Music, and a bunch of other streaming platforms, iHeartRadio, all that fun stuff. But then today, what I'd like to do, let me charge my mouse battery while I'm talking to. I think the design of the Apple mouse, where they have the charger at the bottom, it's probably one of the dumbest things I have ever heard of. I really want to know the justification for that. I wonder if they updated that on modern iPads, but it's just it is literal insanity of design. Like, why would you have your charger? The old ones used to have the charger plug in the top, and so you could use the mouse. Anyhow, sorry for the rant. Okay, so anyhow, it was just a crazy day, but I'm back on track. I got a little bit of music done, which is good. That's one of my goals, is 15 minutes of music. And now I got to get my comics in, and then tomorrow is going to be chaos because tomorrow is doing, a week's worth of homework for 4 classes, which I can do. And then hopefully getting more progress on the comic tomorrow as well, even though we'll probably be working early into the morning tomorrow. So anyhow, if you're tuning in and you're a night owl, you're in good company. I don't really feel up to it. That's one thing I want to say. Like, I'm pumped about making the time and having the self-discipline to show up. But there are days where I don't feel like working on comics. Like, I don't feel like drawing. it's not about feeling. I don't know if that makes sense. And there's most days where you're just showing up and you're like pumped and feeling good. Today is not one of those days. Today is a day where I want to just go to bed. And I've been relaxing all day. And I guess for some people, maybe that's a normal thing on Saturdays. But for me, that's like unusual. Like, I really, I don't know, pride myself in working all the time, which maybe isn't so good. But anyhow, point being, that today I don't feel like working on comics, and I'm going to sit down and work on them like a big boy. Okay. um, and I think that's actually, I think that's important. I don't know. I personally think that's important. We'll see if I can overcome the hurdle or if I just hit a roadblock and am unable to draw. Right now, I feel like I'm not going to be able to draw anything. We'll see as the night progresses. Because again, I'm not feeling it, right? And a lot of people, I see this with students a lot. I see it with young artists a lot. I see it with myself sometimes, where a lot of people make art about the feels, like you can do it when you feel like it, or oh, I feel inspired, so I'll make something. But for me, what's worked for me in the past, and we'll see if it works tonight, is showing up, doing the work, allowing myself at least like 30 minutes or something, see if anything sparks. I have a routine, so that's good. And then it's about routine, self-discipline, and building habits, and then it becomes a really enjoyable process. But I will tell you, it's like anything else. It's like a workout. It's like anything else. When you sit down to do it, you don't. At least if you're like me, you don't feel like doing it. Like you just, it's like, ugh, you know. But once you get into it, once you get into the flow, it works really well. So we'll see how that goes. But it is going to be an interesting stream in the sense of, like a lot of times I'll sit down, I'm like pumped to get going, and tonight I'm just like, it is a slow start back. So anyhow, what we're going to be working on tonight though is, we're going to work on Not Death But Love, the strange supernatural story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning, the graphic novel for Turner Publishing, page 139, and we're going to get through it. We're going to rough it out. So it shouldn't be impossible, but depending on how in the flow or whatever of it I am, we'll just kind of have to see how it goes. Yeah, but it is interesting that today was just like, whew, it was a rough day. Just in like getting getting my gears back, getting rested, all of that kind of thing. Thomas said, reminds me of when a famous, let me pull it up on screen. It's easier for me to read. Reminds me when a famous sci-fi author was asked where his inspiration comes from, and he said, I don't know. I don't know. It comes every day at 9 a.m. when I sit at my typewriter. I don't know if that's a Bradbury thing. It sounds like a Bradbury thing. I think that was Ray Bradbury. I think. If I'm wrong, internet, well, who cares? Do facts matter nowadays on the internet? Does anyone care about facts anymore? I don't think so. I think we're in like post-fact society. So I'll just say it with 100% certainty. It is Ray Bradbury. You know what's weird to me? Okay, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get into comics. But do you guys ever find it weird? The kind of people who can speak with like utter confidence in something they're completely uncertain of. And how that confidence can be like contagious. Like it can make you, even if you know facts, sometimes when someone speaks so confidently about falsities, you feel like, am I wrong? Maybe I got that wrong. It like plays off of people who bother to do their due diligence and like look into the facts, because most of us, most of us folks, Thomas said Bradbury, Heinlein, or Ellison, I think. But most of us folks who bother to kind of look into the facts and stuff of things, or like to educate ourselves or learn, you start realizing like more and more like the like how ignorant you are of like everything. Like, it's like I might start getting a good grasp on art, and then I'll meet somebody whose technique is like far superior. And I think it's weird to me I don't meet a lot of like academics or people who've spent their life studying something or becoming an expert in something who exude just like utter confidence in everything they say, because they're usually smart enough to know they don't know everything and they could be wrong on some things, like in general. So, you know, I think if you're a pretty analytical person, you start going, maybe I'm remembering that wrong. Let me look into it, right? But the guys who just like, they just outright will be like, nope, that's it. Boom, it is that, and double down. And then, you know, it's like it's said so confidently. It's really bizarre. It's bizarre trying to combat that sometimes. And it's funny because I'll second guess myself, like, wait, but I feel like I knew that. Yeah, I think I know that. I think I know that that's wrong. Anyhow, okay. So anyhow, in this post-truth society, we'll just say it was Bradbury. Okay, Thomas, it was Bradbury, 100% certainty. If you look it up and I'm wrong, that's just the big system lying to you. Okay, here we go. Boom. Here's our stream. Look at that scary white page. You guys might notice something. I fixed my webcam. I didn't know why it wasn't loading. I finally just was like, wait a minute, how do you fix things in this interweb society? Oh, you just Google it. So I Googled it, and maybe I have to I might have to clean the screen. But anyhow, point being, we have our hand cam back, which is exciting, even though like most of it's blown out here. I'll turn off the ring light on it. You'll also notice I'm an art teacher, so I have like acrylic paint that just won't wash off, like embedded on my hands, which is wild. But anyhow, that's just what happens when you paint. So if you see that, realize that's just blue acrylic paint that just wouldn't quite come off in the shower. All right. So anyhow, today, so here's where I'm at. We're 12 minutes in. You can tell I'm probably delaying for a reason. I don't feel like working on this page. I'm going to work on this page and overcome the hurdle and stuff. But it's like it is a pain. It is a pain, and today I really don't feel it. So you might even notice that I'm kind of delaying a bit. But anyhow, how this is also going to work is, you can't really see it actually anymore, but down here below this giant logo, we have a pretty amazing little what do we got? Script. And I'm going to be breaking down the script into what we need to see, and then from there we'll rough it out. So, okay, let's see what we got. So, the script says, dressed in riding gear, his moots are bloody. No, his boots are muddy. Okay. So Robert enters a room. So Robert enters. Why do I feel like I already did this? Whatever. Okay. Robert enters room. Why is the Wacom acting all weird? Oh, I see. I might have to restart Photoshop just to get that touch sensitivity back going. Anna said, I show up to his moots are bloody. Yeah, exactly. That's me. I am a pronunciation master. So the Wacom's being weird. So give me 2 seconds. It's also one of those days, guys. I don't know if you've had those days where you're like trying wholeheartedly to work, and like, oh my gosh, today was definitely one of those. Where you're trying like wholeheartedly to work, and everything in the universe like just doesn't work. So like even when I was setting up this stream, it's like initially my Wacom tablet wasn't running, so I had to download the Wacom driver, and then then my computer like froze, and then it wasn't installing the tablet driver because it was saying it was previously installing another thing. Anyhow, that was just 1 minute of a day that's been all of those minutes, which is partially why I am starting so late, because I'm like, I would have liked to start earlier. There we go. There we go, computer. Look at that. That's what you want. You want that touch sensitivity. We're just gonna go, from thin to thick. Okay. Touch sensitivity. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm delaying time. Okay. Okay. Let's make our list. So, how are you guys doing? What projects are you working on? Did you guys check out the new album? Did you check out Stumbling Blindly to the Road? What do you think of the new album? Um, I don't know. Just think about it. Talk about it. All right. Let's get into this. So we're making our list. Wow, today is wild. Here's what I need to remember to do because of the way today's been going. I need to remember to save, right? Because this would be the day where you don't save your work and then everything crashes and it's like you put in all this effort. That would be today. Today is that day. Oh, nice. Anna said, checking it out now. Excited to hear. Cool. I'm excited for you to hear it. You'll have to let me know what you think. Okay. So, dressed in riding gear, Robert enters room. Robert enters. Am I like zoomed in like 1,000,000%? I am. It is one of those days. Okay, here we go. I will get this right, guys. Okay, 1. Robert enters room. Riding gear. He's been riding his horse. And Elizabeth is lying on sofa, looking sick. Cloth on head. I don't see it. Oh, nice. Original Twitch chat said, I did hear the new album. It was really good, I think. Thank you. I appreciate it. Said, I've been getting into making music in FLS Studio lately. I've opened up commissions on that. Nice. Nicely done. That is the way it goes. Okay. Here's a weird thing about scripts. How do you show a cool cloth on somebody's forehead in visual art? Like what do I draw ice cubes? Anyhow, that's going to be an interesting challenge. Maybe it'll just be a cloth and people put it together, but it's just one of those things where I don't. That wasn't a very comic-y line to write. Okay. Okay, we've got Robert saying it is infernally hot. Anna said, sick is how I am, but drawing and catching up on internet things. Well, I'm sorry you got sick. My son just got better from being sick for a week. He had like a bad cold for a whole week. But he's kind of, I think, a little sad about feeling better because now he has to go back to school next week. And he got a whole week off of school. So, like, while he was sick, he was also kind of enjoying just like, time, making video games and doing his stuff. He likes to make video games. He's very creative. Okay. So this is going to be Elizabeth and Robert dialogue. And then it's saying an almost empty laudanum bottle and spoon on the table next to the sofa catch Robert's eye. He picks up the bottle. So I'm going to have the laudanum bottle in foreground. Yeah, I can already tell today's work session is going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight to get through this because, like, just to take the notes is taking a little longer than usual. That's okay. I'll get in the zone. All right, what do we got? Robert picks up the bottle. our picks up bottle. Robert text. So Robert's saying, "Are you ill?" And then Elizabeth is saying, "No, dear, do not worry. It calms me. That's all." And then, so we'll probably have this be Robert and EBB dialogue. And then, okay, it's like, "Are you ill?" "No, dear, don't worry about me. It calms me down. That's all." "I thought you were feeling better." That's Robert. And then Elizabeth, "I am. Sophie and I even hosted a little tea party today for the ladies." Robert, "For the ladies? How many ladies?" Elizabeth, "Sophie thought it would do me good." Robert, ah. His face darkens as he examines the laudanum bottle. Okay, so this is going to be that text. So that's going to be split between two panels. And then we're going to have 5B Robert and bottle. 6 Wilson brings in dinner. I'm gonna have Wilson enter in this panel, so you kind of see it almost like an animation where it's like she'll kind of enter into the room while he's looking at the laudanum bottle, going ah, and then she'll set down the tray in the last panel. Sweet. Okay, there we go. We've got six of these suckers. So that's my list. It will be a slow start day, so I am going to heat up some coffee real quick, because we still have coffee from this morning. And I am weird like that. I'll keep a pot full of coffee and then just kind of heat up as it's going. Original Twitch chat said, "Oh, LOL, well, at least you'll be hydrated." Nice. Oh, what is this? I think that's... Oh, Anna said, "Bad cold here too. I hope I'm over the kidney stone stuff. Finally got my lab results this week." Ooh, kidney stones. Ugh. That's just brutal. Okay, here we go. We're gonna play a trailer, and I'll be right back, guys. While I'm gone, go ahead and hit that like and the bell so you get notifications. I'm gonna put on Frank's Adventures at the Library, and then we'll get into drawing.
Our heroic adventurers fought orcs, monsters, sorcerers, necromancers. Now they find themselves in front of a mystical library. What shall they find? It's all in the roll of the dice.
We've come this far. There's great power behind this door. I can feel it. We just have to get past it. This door is no match for my axe. I shall chop it down. You always want to use brute strength. Why don't you try knocking? We'll try it your way. You may enter. The library is open to all those who seek knowledge. Feel free to look through our tomes. Maybe you'll find the answers you seek. I sense great power here, and it's behind those shelves. Indeed, there are powerful items hidden behind these shelves, but you can only get there through the enchanted words. Do you have those words? I believe I do.
Tremble before the Crembo.
There is great power. Look at that glove. Must be so powerful. That is not where I sense this power. I must get closer. I found them. I found the sacred manuscripts written by Joshua Kemble. Behold, I now possess 2 stories and Jacob's apartment. Please tell us more about 2 stories and Jacob's apartment. And who is Joshua Kemble?
Xeric Award-winning cartoonist Joshua Kemble is a freelance artist, graphic designer, and author. Two Stories is a confessional graphic memoir that grapples with questions of faith, mental illness, depravity, and ultimately redemption in a fallen world. Jacob's Apartment is a coming-of-age graphic novel in the vein of Ghost Road and Fun Home. It weaves together the threads of spiritual faith, identity, purpose, love, and loss to create an engrossing world in which waking and sleeping dreams collide.
You have made your choice. The passage is now closed. Wait, can I get that glove? No. Oh. All right, let's go.
Okay, so right now I'm looking through the sample pages that I have printed up. I don't know if I've told you guys this. I'm sure I have, but I print up sample pages as I'm working on it. That way I can kind of read the sequence as I'm working on it and make sure the colors are going to print okay. On a printer, like a CMYK printer, it's never going to be quite as nice as offset, and usually it'll be like a variance of like 5% or something. But if your colors are working on a little like CMYK printer fairly well, then they're probably going to work. At least you have a rough idea of what they're going to print like in offset. I always encourage people to do that. Anna said, Frank said, I know that voice. Roll for Tarako, which is Frank's amazing channel. Okay, so now let's get into this. So I have my room. This is the room, guys. See that? I don't know if you can. Gotta kind of pull this above the script. Yeah, you guys can kind of see that. So that room right there from previous page. So I can get a pretty rough idea of what the landscape is that Robert's walking into. Tremble before the cremble, says Anna. Nice. How are you guys? Frank, how is everything, man? How are your speeches? That's a weird way to put it. Why is okay? Now it's like, oh, today is gonna be one of those days, I guess. I'm not sure why, but for some reason, okay, I'm gonna just save this and then reopen it. For some reason, it was like now my brush was kind of being weird. Okay, it really is gonna be one of those days. We'll get through it, guys. Frank said I helped run a speech today. That's amazing. Why is nothing appearing? This is gonna drive me nuts. It's gonna drive me nuts. Is Photoshop like needing an update or something? I'm just gonna quit out of Photoshop. My Wacom's been having all kinds of issues, guys. So I'm gonna quit out of Photoshop. You'll see it still because that's how OBS works. Let's see if that solves the issue here. It's like it's stuck on a wide, fat brush, even when I put the marquee option. So fun times. Anna said, oh no, I hope it starts working again. I hope it does too. Frank said, someone from church asked me to evaluate their testimony. Nice. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, it's working again, guys. A functional computer. That's helpful. Okay. I'm just kind of accepting that's just going to be today. Today will be full of a lot of little pitfalls. So it'll be an interesting stream. We'll see if we can push through it and make cool stuff. I also noticed this hasn't updated. So let me update that to the new. There we go. Okay. Here we go. And I said, yay, I know, I'm excited. Okay, so we're going to have Robert, dressed in his riding gear, he's entering the room where Elizabeth lies upon the sofa, looking sickly, a cool cloth on her head. Okay, so I'm going to have this be Robert entering the room in riding gear. So maybe this will be Robert. Robert's got like an Abraham Lincoln style beard. If you guys haven't been following this, Robert Browning, you can look him up. He's got definitely a full Abe Lincoln. Have you guys ever thought about going with a beard? And that's for ladies and gentlemen. Have you guys ever considered going bearded for a day or so? I know Frank from Roll for Taraco's rocked the mustache. I actually showed a couple of my friends back when my buddy Kevin Cross and I used to do. I want a little more movement to his posture here. Anna said, I think about it all the time. Back when Mr. Kevin Cross and I used to do a podcast called Big Illustration Party Time, we had this bet that we made with each other about and it was kind of a bit with the audience too, where it was kind of at the peak of like hipster mustaches. This is, early 2000s, right? You want to think very early 2000s. Maybe it was like, yeah, early 2000s. And we had see, I don't like how this posture is working. It is going to be a slow start day. So anyhow, there was this whole trend with like hipster mustaches. And so we made a bet that, because we were doing Stumptown at the time, which was this big comic convention in downtown Portland. And I was like, I bet if I had just like a full out cop stash with like a handlebar mustache and wore police glasses, like it might improve my sales because people would just think I'm some cool hipster. And it was a joke. And then we did the show and I did it. I actually, grew out, did the handlebar mustache, grew it out for like a month and a half, 2 months. So it was a nice full handlebar mustache. And and it did actually help sales, which was, I don't know whether that was cool or not. It was a little disturbing. Where I was like, man, that shouldn't. I guess how you look matters for sales, but still, we thought it was kind of funny. People liked the handlebar cop stash. Now, would they still react the same way this day and age? I think mustaches are kind of hip still, and hipsters still do mustaches, but I don't know if they do the straight handlebar as often as they used to. He looks a little. I don't like this posture. Just doesn't look quite right. So let's see what's going on. Why am I struggling today? It's okay. We'll get there. I just didn't like his posture there. All right, there we go. That actually makes more sense. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to have Robert walking in. He's got his little thing or whatever, his tailcoat. He's wearing riding gear. So he's going to have those tall like rider boots. These are roughs, by the way, guys. And then this foot should actually be forward. That'll make it more plausible. This hand a little higher. Much better. Okay. So he's walking into the room, and then we've got Elizabeth, who's on the couch. Couch kind of looks like this. I like the idea of her. She's going to be kind of laying on her side. If you're sick, though, would you be laying on your side or on your back? Let me know. Philip said, Mr. Kemble is on the air. Yes. Yes. Frank said, I trimmed my stash, still rocking it, though. Yeah, I trimmed my beard today, actually. It's wild. I've told you guys this, like, my hair is out of control. And so if I let it, I think actually this makes more sense. She'll be doing the, oh, I'm so sick. So my hair, if I let it go for too long, will naturally default to like a Bob Ross situation. Okay. Like, and Bob Ross is red, but I can't pull off a Bob Ross. Like, I can't. Philip was saying lying on your side, I thought induces vomiting. Well, I always sleep on my side. But I think when you're feeling sick, yeah, you're gonna generally be. You're right. So I have a second opinion on this. She's gonna have like a towel on her head, and then what's she gonna be saying? We'll figure it out. She's laying back. She's gonna be laying back on the couch. I want a little bit of an overlap so we can tell the foreground, middle ground, background, all that fun stuff. I remember the couch from the previous page. I have the little previous page on my lap too with the. And I said I always sleep on my side also. Yeah, Philip clarified if you're sick. I found out, this is kind of cool. I actually found out that see, now I have to think what side. Oh, if you sleep on your left side, actually it's really good for your heart and for your neck and posture. And I have horrible posture, but when I found that out, I was like, cool, because I sleep on my left side. I know some people, this is wild to me. This is absolute. Like, if you are one of these people, you are a strange individual. You're probably not that strange of an individual, but to me, it just seems so like out of pocket for how you should sleep. There are some people who sleep on their stomachs, like face down. That's wild to me. I don't know. Maybe they're more confident than I am. Because, like, for me, I would feel so claustrophobic. And then my back would hurt. My neck, like, your neck's cranked back like that. Like, ugh. That just... Frank said, I'm face down right now. Philip said, I've fallen asleep like that. Huh? And I said, I have fallen asleep face down. Some don't think it's good for you. It's not that it's good. It's just, I think this is just people's sleeping style, but I literally can't. Like, I can't fall asleep face down. And I'm a heavy sleeper, but I just wouldn't be able to sleep until, in fact, I will kind of change sides as I'm falling asleep, but I always end up sleeping on my left side. It's just a weird thing where I just cannot. Nothing else works. Okay. Oh, wait. We aren't going to have books here. We're just going to have the laudanum bottle. And it's going to be like kind of half full. I want it to be in a spot where, you know what? To make it a little more convenient for framing, I might have the laudanum bottle be here, like up close. So that as Robert is kind of entering the room, when he does pick up the bottle, it'll be better framed and I can keep him in the line of action. Here's the thing. So I was talking to somebody about comics and the line of action, and a couple of people are saying, you don't need to follow the line of action in comics. You don't. I agree. But a lot of people make really confusing comics where action sequences are kind of like, have you guys ever seen a Michael Bay movie? Even if you like Michael Bay, like sometimes the action can be really hard to follow. And it's partially because during fights, pay attention. If you watch like the Transformers movie or whatever, or watch it again sometime, and you're going to notice that he constantly crosses the line of action. So he'll have a character on the left, and without going 180 and following the 180 rule, the character will just be on the right, and then they're in the middle, and on like they're all over the place, and the staging of the characters, so it makes it choppy and makes it feel like time has passed, and it hasn't. And so even if you like Michael Bay films, it can be really hard to follow fights because like follow what's going on. Maybe it looks cool, but it's hard to tell. Like, did somebody just punch some? Like, I can't tell what's happening. That's part of why is they aren't following the line of action. Yeah, Anna was saying my brain gives up and I just zone out looking at the scenes flash by. Yeah, and that's kind of tends to be what'll happen if you don't establish a proper line of action in your comics. And all that means for a line of action is if you have a character on the right and a character on the left, right, in one panel, and let's say they're kind of situated like this, right? If you do another shot and now they're talking, right? You still want the left character on the left, the right character on the right. Does that make sense? The only time that you can kind of flop that line of action is if you show the exact opposite angle. So that I mean, a lot of us already knew that, but that's a good little sequential rule. It's more than a rule in storyboarding. It's like essential because there's a camera being placed in the room, and so if you cross the line of action, you might actually expose the camera. So there's more reason to it in film than there is in. It's a hard rule in film, but in comics it's still a good rule, and it predates film as a rule of just good sequential storytelling. So even before film, people when they were illustrating sequential images, right, would try to kind of follow a line of action. You'll just notice that, guys. He's entering the room. And she's going to be saying, what was she going to be saying? She's going to be saying something about, that was a short ride. So that'll be there. Okay. That's my thumbnail, guys. Oh my gosh. We're 45 minutes in and I got a thumbnail. So yeah, like even if you're doing an over shoulder of this same sequence, you'd still want it to be Robert on the left, Elizabeth on the right. The only way I could change that is if I physically show Robert cross the line, like if I show him walk across, then you can show him on the other side. But otherwise, you kind of want to keep your left guy on your left, your right guy on your right. Okay. So, okay. Let me have some coffee. Okay, now it's Robert's catching the the laudanum bottle in the foreground. Okay. Robert's eye is going to be catching it. So I want this shot to be with the laudanum bottle front and center. And I'll end up probably looking up a laudanum bottle. I have one in my references already from previous pages. Maybe I'll just pull those up. But I remember pretty well what it looks like. All right, so we're going to have our laudanum bottle here. I like the idea of it being kind of, maybe it's like an upshot. And then maybe it'll be Robert kind of eyeing it. Okay, we're just getting little thumbnails at this point, and then I'll detail the roughs later. Maybe this will just be her mouth kind of saying blah 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 blah, whatever she's gonna say. She's pretty much just saying it's because he's gonna be saying it's infernally hot. Are you ill? And she's gonna be saying, here, I'll have her arm there. Do. Okay. And this will be the room. The Room. Have you guys ever seen that movie? It's horrible. It's like, it is one of the worst movies ever made. I remember, like, okay, I really love the movie Ed Wood by now I'm blanking out on the director's name. He's great, Tim Burton. But it's like, so because of that movie, I ended up watching a bunch of Ed Wood films, and I'm telling you, Plan 9 from Outer Space is one of the most boring movies ever made. It's like it almost takes talent to be that bad. Like, it's not even like, a lot of B movies will have like a charm to them. Like, this one is like, Ed Wood movies are really hard to watch. Like, they visually are pretty cool, but they're incredibly hard to watch. Like, it's hard to sit through like 5 minutes of it. Like, it's not even B movie fun. Like, they're just really boring, horrible movies. Anyhow, so The Room kind of reminds me of that. It's that kind of bad. It's like, but it's not, I don't know. I think The Room's a little more entertaining than those. Okay, so this is going to be him saying that was a short ride. It is oh, it's infernally hot, and then he's going to say, "Are you ill?" And she's going to be saying, "No, dear, it calms me down. That's all. I'm just a drug addict." That's basically what she's saying. Philip said, "Josh, you're tearing me apart," from The Room. And I can't even imitate Tommy Wiseau. Like, he's just like amazing. Like, I can't figure out his accent. I don't know. He's amazing. Frank said, I have seen the Ed Wood movie by Tim Burton, and I had the Plan 9 DVD. Dude, so my favorite part of Ed Wood is when the older actor is going, "Pull the string, pull the string." It's like this whole monologue. It's beautiful. Anyhow, it's great. Anna said, if there was a bug on the wall, it would be more entertaining than Ed Wood movies. Yes, but they are really fun. Like, they're fun, but they're so. Oh, Manos Hands of Fate is great. I love that Philip mentioned that. Although the only one I've seen was the one that was on oh my gosh, why am I'm just, today is just an off day. Mystery Science Theater 3000. The one that was on there was the only one that I've seen. So that might have made it more entertaining. Yeah. Yeah, Philip just said MST3K. Yeah. All right, guys. We got 2 thumbnails done. I'm going to heat up a little more coffee. It is one of those nights, guys. Okay. So I'm going to put on the trailer for, and then I'll play you guys a little bit of what I recorded before I started. this slow start, the battle to get this stuff done. Let's play. Hey, we got Philip in the chats. Let's play Philip Chandler. I'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Phil Chandler. I'm a freelance artist, illustrator, and cartoonist. Today, though, however, I want to tell you about a graphic novel I picked up recently called Jacob's Apartment. This book was both written and beautifully illustrated by Joshua Kemble. It is the story of a doomed romance that causes the main character to question his beliefs and his faith, while he's also going through other tragedies in his life. Every page has been illustrated by hand and digitally colored with painstaking detail. It is an emotional story that causes you to think and even question things in your own life. And while the story is a tragedy, it is one that I was completely entertained by and I highly recommend. You can currently find this on Amazon or even check in with your local bookstore and see if you can order it. And while you're at it, you can also check out my Instagram at Phil Chandler Arts and also my YouTube channel by the same name, Phil Chandler Arts. And go buy Jacob's Apartment.
All right, so I'm going to change a couple actions from the script because I think it just makes it more entertaining, because it wouldn't make a lot of sense for it just to be the bottle in his hand in that second panel. But he is supposed to pick up the bottle before that exchange. I think it makes more sense for him to say, are you ill? And she's saying, no, dear, don't worry. It calms me down. That's all. And then I'm going to have him holding the bottle in this panel. And this is where we're going to cram all the dialogue. So, actually, he's saying it's infernally hot. Are you ill? And then, let's see, how many panels? Oh, we're doing 6 panels. Okay. I like the idea of one being kind of a close-up of him. Maybe he's holding the bottle. So this is like the line of action stuff. So I'm going to have Robert here. He's now going to be holding the bottle and looking down at it. And then we'll have the table kind of here. And then we'll have her sort of with her arm kind of flailing out like, no, dear, it calms me down. That's all. Her arm's not going to be like flailing that wildly, but I figure it'll be better than just having her kind of keep her hand on. But so this is an example of that line of action thing, because the line of action is still him on the left and her on the right. You see what I'm saying? So even though we're going to do a lower shot behind her, I'm still going to try to keep her on the right, him on the left. There's an entryway, I remember, here. And then there's going to be these kind of pillars. So this is going to be him saying, I thought you were feeling better. And then she's going to be saying, I am. Sophie hosted tea for the ladies. And then this one will be Robert kind of stunned saying, for the ladies. And then the Beastie Boys will be in the next panel going, hey ladies. Sorry. I was just thinking the for the ladies sounds like a thing in hip hop, like the for the ladies. All right, anyhow. Philip said, I've had falls, injuries, and just a lot of stress. I had a old man fall, an injury a couple weeks ago. That was rough. Those happen. I'm noticing as one ages. But I am sorry to hear it, Philip. Anyhow, and mine wasn't super bad. I recovered in like a week and a half, but Anna says, I'm going to write LOL, but I'm not laughing about falls. Well, if we don't laugh about it, then there's, what is there if we can't laugh, right? For the ladies, how many ladies? That's exactly how, when you guys get the graphic novel, you'll know that's how it's intended to be read. Okay. It's going to seem like a serious moment where he's catching his wife like overusing opium, like, which is laudanum at the time, was like medicine. But it was just opium. And it's a pretty serious point in the story. But you guys will know that when he's saying, for the ladies, how many ladies? He's saying, for the ladies, how many ladies? It's like a dance number, a hip hop one. Okay. Okay, here we go. So that's going to be him saying, for the ladies, how many ladies? And she's going to be saying, Sophie thought it would do me good. She's going to have her hand back on her forehead. She's going to be saying, Sophie thought it would do me good. Have her here. That'll be the couch. Cool. All right. Thumbnails, guys. Thumbnails. And then I will rough this out. But the nice thing is once I have these thumbnails, in theory, I'll get them done. If they weren't so stiff tonight, it's interesting. It's interesting how art is. But I will tell you guys, it's important to push through. When you have those days where you're like, I don't feel like it, tell yourself to shut up and do it. Okay, what is this? Anna said, I was going to write... Anna said, that's what I was LOLing about. Yeah, I was reading about laudanum for some reason recently. Nice. Yeah, it was a big thing and it was probably, a lot of people suspect that was mostly one of the big causes of Elizabeth's woes was that she was a laudanum addict. And so like most of the symptoms she was taking laudanum for were symptoms of overusing opium. So it's one of those things where the medicine was actually causing the illness. Okay. Now is going to be Robert. His face is going to darken. I actually like the idea of this one maybe could be Robert kind of head down. We're going to do like a... We'll do kind of a shot of him looking at the bottle. And I like the idea of it being kind of, maybe he's even leaning over it a little bit. And then this will be him saying, ah. And maybe we have Elizabeth here. Okay. And then finally. Oh, and this was going to have Wilson entering. Okay. So we gotta modify this a little bit. That sucks. Oh, I've got it. I know what I'm gonna do. Because the doorway would be to Robert's left. So we're gonna modify this a little bit. This will be Wilson coming in with a dinner tray. Doop-a-doop-a-doo with her Wilson hat, her Wilson-y maid hat. And then her Wilson-y short hair, and she's got a dinner tray. Dinner tray. she's going to be walking in. I will try to fix those tangents in the final page. And then finally we'll have the next one be almost the same shot where Wilson is putting the dinner on the tray or on the table. So there's going to be a table here. We'll pull back a little bit. There's a table here. Elizabeth's here. Robert's here. We'll just have his expression. Probably have that couch here. All right, you guys, this is working out. We have our thumbnails done. Okay, now to get to roughs. So what I'm going to do is a couple things. One is I'm going to get rid of the list because I don't need it anymore. 2 is I'm going to lock the transparent pixels. 3, I'm going to find the panel borders because I always do these on previously done rough templates. And then finally, I'll make this cyan or something so that I can kind of draw over it as an underdrawing, which will be really nice. And so we're going to go ahead and fit it to the panel borders. And then we'll adjust the panel borders to fit to it. I don't know if that makes sense. Prank said, I'm back. I was taking some cocaine for my migraines. It's an old remedy. What did I miss? What is funny, Frank, on that is if you look at old Coca-Cola ads, it's like relieves fatigue. Like all the old Coca-Cola ads from the Victorian era. Let me see if I can find one. Hold on. I'll read it to you guys real quick. Vintage Coca-Cola ad Victorian. They're really funny. They're like my favorite thing in the world. What do they always say? Take 1 glass of Coca-Cola when weary or shopping. It imparts energy and vigor. That was one of them. Oh, here's my favorite. Relieves fatigue, the most refreshing drink in the world. Anyhow, they're very funny because like they're pretty much advertising cocaine. Philip said, it looks like I picked the wrong week to quit amphetamines. Anna said, my drama teacher had a huge Coca-Cola collection and talked about that part of the history. My dad was a Coca-Cola collector. He liked the vintage stuff. So he even had like what was a 5-cent machine, and then they had changed it to a 10-cent machine, but it was like an old Coke machine in the house. Never got it fixed till like I think the last year of his life he got it fixed up. But that was really cool. And he had like a lot of the collectibles and stuff. Yeah, he was a huge Coca-Cola fan because he was a graphic designer, and I think he really liked the Victorian era like script and stuff. And also he really liked Coca-Cola a lot. Like he drank way too much Diet Coke. I don't drink any soda, but that soda is like a killer habit. Like I'll have a soda here or there, but we don't have sodas around the house and stuff because like it's just I will drink too much soda and it's so bad All right, guys. We're gonna play a quick ad, and then no, you know what? Let me push through a little more. That was me. That was me doing the. You guys can see me fight resistance actively on this stream. This is how my brain works when I'm working on art. I'll be like, "You did good. Take a break," and it's like, "No, no, no. We need to push through, meet certain goals before I allow myself to have a break." We're on a break. Okay, that was a Friends reference, you guys. A Friends reference. What do you know? Okay. I'm here all night. I know. Okay. Okay, here we go. Most of these are lining up. I want to adjust this to where it's more correct. Should be like way more over. Moreover is a good term. That feels like a very British thing, right? Oh, Philip's in the chats. Philip, how do people feel about all this nutty tariff stuff? I don't want to get political on stream, but I've been curious. I've been eager to find out from my Canadian brethren how they feel about the insanity of our dude, our tariff happy fellow. You don't have to get into like fine details about it. I'm just curious, like what the overall vibes are there in regards to the U.S. of A. nowadays. All right, what else? I've just been curious to ask Canadian folk, my Canadian beings, what Anna said, "Friends, my brain, the I'll be there for you" song is now playing. It's funny. I feel like at the time, I wonder if Frank can attest to this. I feel like at the time there was kind of a divide, like not a huge divide, like people would kind of watch everything. But I feel like there were people who watched Seinfeld and then there were people who watched Friends, like because they were running around the same time. And then every once in a while you get an overlap, but usually people were like really into Seinfeld or really into Friends. I was more I was more on the side of Seinfeld for sure, because I just Friends was fun and interesting and stuff, but it wasn't. I don't know. I felt like Seinfeld just some like really the writing in that was so good. Philip said we're not happy about it, but our government has a plan for retaliatory tariffs. We know this is going to affect both our countries. Yeah, and the thing that bums me out about tariffs too is there are tariffs today. I found this out like a couple months ago or whatever, but there's tariffs today that are in effect that have regressive impacts on the entire economy that stem back to the 1970s, and no one wants. Like, no one currently wants them to exist. But the problem is, once like we introduce a tariff, then you're right. Like, there's going to be retaliatory tariffs. And then there's retaliation after that. And it creates a trade war. And some of the impacts of that on costs just are like irreversible. So like in a weird way, it's like, you know, some of these things, if these all go into effect, it's like, you know, these could be like 10-year problems. Like they're not easy to undo. They're easy to do. They're really uneasy to undo. And it is kind of like firing the first shot in a war. So it's like, it's kind of a bad idea if you don't have to, but yeah, it's going to be a mess at minimum. Okay, guys. I got to my point. I was going to say I got to my breaking point, but that doesn't sound right. I got to my point where I'm allowed to take a break. So I'm going to save this, and then when I come back, we'll start actually roughing out these panels. Let's play a trailer. Anna said, "Yeah, they build up on each other like the Uno reverse card." Yeah, and the problem is, when those go into effect, it's a very complex network, global trade, and each little like lever that's pulled has massive regressive effects, like across like and reverberations across the board to like all trade and all costs. And so it's going to be interesting, to say the least, to see, yeah, anyhow. Frank said Point Break. That's a great movie. Okay, I haven't seen it in a while. Actually, I wonder if it holds up. No, I'm not sure. But I remember liking it when I was younger. When I was a young man, I liked that. All right, here's Home Shopping Crumble. I'll be right back.
Well, thank you, Colleen. I hope your daughter Kelly does well at North Carolina State this year. Well, we got another caller on the line. Elizabeth from Phoenix, Arizona. Elizabeth, what can we do for you? Are you ready to do some shopping, girl?
Oh, yes, Terry. I am ready to do some shopping today. I'm interested in that 2-book set you have. 2 Stories and Jacob's Apartment.
Oh, well, that's a great choice.
In fact, I bought these books before. I gave a set to my grandson, Hunter. These books are amazing.
Well, they sure are, and if you buy both of them, you really get the whole feel of the whole Joshua Kemble universe. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do, Terry. These books are remarkable because, for one, you can take them anywhere. You could put them in your car, and you can go to the park or the river. We've gone to the river. My husband Taylor and I, we just love it. And I murdered my husband at the river. Yeah, I did. But these still are amazing books.
We know that George, you can't say the craziest thing.
So, little Susie, do you have any brothers or sisters? I understand you're in 3rd grade. How do you like that? Do you like your teacher? You like to do a lot of fun things at school? You got any hobbies, Susie? Any things you like to do when you're not in school? I hear you like to read.
Well, right now I'm reading 2 stories, written and illustrated by Joshua Kemble. It grapples with faith and mental illness. It's ultimately a story about redemption. It's a savage piece of writing. Also, I just finished up Jacob's Apartment, another one by Kemble. Jacob's Apartment weaves together elements of spiritualism and relationship dynamics, as well as atheism. And all the while it deals with abandonment and loyalty. It's a fierce read.
Do you like ponies?
All right, nice. Thanks for hanging in there during that break. I also had some lights that I needed to fix in the background. That's why I ran 2 of them. Okay, so Anna said that voice, oh man, it kills me. Kids these days. And then Frank said Scott Strickland plate in the back, LOL. I know. The detail, that's one of the things I love about all of Jim's animations, is like the wild amount of details. Okay, so what we're going to do is start, speaking of details, now we're going to start getting into details. Again, these aren't final pages, these are roughs. But now now we can kind of start like working it out a little more to where it's not hideous, right? Publisher worthy, like, and not publishable, but worthy to show to my publisher to get approval. I want to do a couple more of these tomorrow. It's going to be an interesting day though, because I have a lot of homework. This is weird to say. It's been a long time since I've been in the college environment, so it's been really fun to be back. Actually, it's probably been about 10 years since I went to college, which is kind of wild. So since grad school, so that shows you how old I am. But yeah, it's been pretty fun. I've been enjoying my teachers and instructors. The homework's not like crazy hard. It's just like very time consuming. But yeah, so that'll be fun. But it's stuff I enjoy. I was thinking about that actually today, of couple years back, I was like kind of overworking, but it was all stuff I didn't enjoy with people I didn't enjoy working with, like all sorts of stuff like that, you know? And that led to some pretty bad like mental stuff, you know? But I feel like in this scenario, it feels so vastly different because I am pushing myself, you know, to work pretty darn hard, like harder than usual. But it's like it feels worth it. And I think that I feel like sometimes that people don't really pay enough attention to that. Like if something's worth it, it feels so much better. Like maybe people do pay attention to that, but if it's things you enjoy doing, having too many things is kind of cool, you know, because it's like, well, I enjoy all these things. So Philip said, I see you're still using Photoshop. Yeah, I love Photoshop. Also, it's just because like that's what I started this book on. I do want to kind of mess with some other programs at some point, but I am still a fan. I am still stuck in the Photoshop ways. There's like a floor here that has a pattern to it too. I don't know if I need to draw the entire floor pattern. Maybe I'll just indicate it because this is again just a rough. This chair kind of goes like this, and then it kind of comes down. This comes down. Has a cushion. Okay, and then a bottom here. Cushiony bottoms. Cushiony bottoms would be the best pirate name in the world. Yeah, have you heard the tale of Cushiony Bottoms? And then if anyone makes fun of him, he just like goes nuts. Don't you be making fun of me Cushiony Bottoms. Philip said, is Photoshop the devil? And Philip said, yes, it is, Frank. It is too expensive. I agree. The Adobe Creative Suite is wildly expensive, but I still love it. It's what I like to use, you know? This is her saying that was a short ride. Man, you can tell I am tired because I was like, and the next panel, Robert's just going to look at her very romantically and say, your mom was a short ride. What was it? Philip said, I understand why people would still use it, though, if you've been using it for a long time. And it's also, in my opinion, I still haven't found anything better. But again, I haven't really had the time or inclination yet or need to learn like Procreate or any of those tools. But I keep hearing excellent things about them, you know? So I would like to. So she's going to have kind of a towel on her head. Anna said, deep. Yeah. It's a Victorian historical fiction graphic novel with fart jokes and your mom jokes. So that's basically all that's going to exist. Okay. Anyhow, so what do we got here? Anna said, I used Clip Studio, but keep falling back on Procreate and Sketchbook. Yeah, I think you just kind of use what works. One thing I've been realizing too with like tools in general, like I've been doing a ton of traditional stuff for the art classes I'm teaching, like acrylic paint and drawing materials and colored pencils and just all this kind of more traditional stuff. And it's so fun. And it's like, it's not that I don't know how to use traditional materials. It's just I haven't had the need to in a while. And so what's interesting about tools is just that, like, you really don't use tools until you need them. And then when you use them, you learn how to use them, In my opinion, that was always the best way to teach Photoshop too, was I would have, I'm going to have her foot kind of here. I would have kids do project-based learning, because it's like, if you don't have a goal, then like, why do I care what the selection tools are? What these tools are like you could do rote learning and then kind of learn stuff and then you'll forget it instantly, or you could have a project where it's something that you need the tools for, and you're definitely going to remember. In my opinion, I think you're going to remember with art, you're going to remember what you used and what you need, and that's it. Because like for me, like for instance, After Effects, right? That was something that my friend Corey, you guys all know Corey, he was always trying to suggest I use After Effects, and it was years till I learned, but the only reason I learned was just needing to animate some stuff. And then suddenly I like learned, within a week. Now, am I as good at After Effects as Corey? Heck no. But would I have been able to learn if I hadn't had that the need to? Probably not. Anna says the ways of the ancients intrigues me. Yes. Yes, we are the ancient ones. We carry the wisdom of the ages. All right. So what do we got here? Okay. Now there is going to be, I have to remember this room. Okay, so there's this is kind of happening here. There's boards. Okay. And then there is more boards. Boards and more boards. More boards sounds like Mordor. So he's walking into more boards. The journey to more boards. And this will just be mostly 1 point anyway, but whatever. Just kind of indicating it now. Again, rough, not a final. It's kind of working out the sequence of events here. Boom. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of shading. Now I really do want to write him saying your mom was short. I want to. It's the worst part in my mind of getting old is I want to be more mature, but I feel like sometimes when you get older you get less mature. Like you have this like period of maturity. Maybe it's like your early 30s where you have a mild period of maturity. And that lasts for about a year. Frank said there's an RPG called Mark Borg, so that's what comes to mind. Nice. Oh, Philip said I plan to go back to doing some projects in traditional mediums very soon. Frank said you haven't lived if you haven't read scripture in its original scrolls. Oh. You know what is cool? There are books out there where you can get the direct translations. Like, so it'll have like without it being reordered, like of the Bible or whatever. Because like, when it's translated, it's reordered. Words are kind of moved to make more sense and stuff like that. But there are direct translations where it's like 1-to-1, even including the order, which is weird because there are definitely some verses where it, if you don't read like Hebrew or Greek, like it's going to be really weird, and it like the order of it makes no sense. So some of it just seems like jargon, but some of it's really fascinating to see the choices that the different translations have kind of chosen to use to kind of indicate like what's being said. But the direct translations are really cool. There's a couple 1-to-1 books that are published, so you can see like the Greek and then the text next to it, or the Hebrew and the text next to it. It's pretty interesting. But let me try to explain what that means. Like, so direct translation would be like if in a culture somebody says, "Hey, can I use the restroom?" Right? But the way that it would translate from the way it was written back then, even though it at the time would have meant like, "Hey, dude, I need to use the restroom," it'll be like the restroom I must use indeedly or something. You know what I mean? And then a thorough translation, not a direct translation, right, is going to consider the context and the meaning and kind of reorder it a little bit so it makes a little more sense in a modern context. So like, it'll rearrange that to like, hey, I need to use the restroom, rather than the restroom I must use, I may, or whatever. You know what I mean? But the direct translation is just like the exact order, leaves like word choices. So like, for instance, if there's a word that had like multiple meanings, they'll have like every meaning possible of said word next to it in the direct translation. Pretty interesting. Anna was saying, I love going back and reading word for word. Studying the grammar of other languages has helped in understanding the logic of word order. Yeah, and I think sometimes I think they kind of screw it up. There's definitely some moments where I will feel like, no, I don't think they got this one right, you know? And you'll look at the original and be like, that makes so much more sense. Why did they reorder it the way they did, you know? I don't know, sometimes. All right, guys, that's enough for the rough for panel 1. So let's get on to the rough for panel 2. This is going to be the laudanum bottle. Mm-mm-mm. And then Philip said, I must exit to the room of rest where I dust throw shall unleash my lungs on the ceramic gods as they call upon my soul. So you got to use the restroom, and that was a beautiful way. You didst speaketh the truth of thine need to exit this mortal coil in thine room of rest. I don't know. I'm trying here. I think mortal coil was a stretch there. I don't know. Okay. So this is going to be that laudanum bottle. It's going to be very empty. This will say la. Now there's actually these usually say laudanum tincture. Now I have like some really nice examples of this that I'll probably pull up when I start working on the final. But for now, we're just going to have it be laudanum tincture. It's going to have its label. We'll have another label. And then we're going to make sure that it's got enough of a gap on the label to kind of see that it's kind of empty. It's low, okay? The laudanum is low. The laudanum is low. Okay. And this is going to be Robert looking at it. Again, we're just kind of doing a rough here. I think I'm going to have his hands kind of in his pockets. Some people will do pocket hands just as a way to cheat drawing hands. That's the worst reason. But I think here, if he's like kind of considering a bottle of laudanum, I think doing the Columbo is a good route. He's like, And then he's going to be saying here, it is infernally hot. That's going to need to be in like a single line. It's just kind of awkward to stack that. So it'll be a one-liner. It is infernally hot. And then he eventually says, "Are you ill?" That doesn't make a lot of sense. That was a strange balloon to have there. There we go. And then it's going to be her saying, "No, dear, do not worry. It calms me. That is all." Okay, and then this was going to be her got her kind of paper towel thing covering her. Well, it's not a paper towel, it'll be a towel. Then her arm. Just realized she's not going to have bare arms. That would be a little unusual. Although she does have the right to bear them. I know. Oh, it's too much. Oh my gosh. You guys, is it too late? Is it too late? Have I lost my mind? All right. Okay. But was said in chat. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So this is going to be kind of more looking up. We're going to see those things a little bit. Kind of some oil lamp type things over here. All right. And again, she's really too big to be in that shot, but I think it gets the point across, and that's the purpose of this, is want to just get the point across of what the staging is going to be like, how this is going to look in the final. As long as we get that across, we're good to go. Also getting a handle on the lighting and the staging. So and oh, we need that couch. Need that couch. All right, there we go. Got the couch. Very strange version of the couch there. But that's okay. All right, I think that gets the point across of the rough. Save, and then we will continue in a second. Frank said it's 3 a.m. here. Well, it's 1 a.m. here. Okay. I got my coffee going. Let's do one more trailer. And then when I come back, we will get more rough and done. All right. And you know what I'll do when we get back? I'll play you guys a little sneak peek of the song I started tracking. So the only thing I have so far is the music and one verse, but it's fun to kind of share those with you guys. So you guys will get an exclusive sneak peek of the never before heard song. I know, guys. I know it's exciting. So when I get back, that's what's going to happen. For now, let's play Wordzoid. I'll be right back.
Well, Peter, since I'm such a big music fan, I'm gonna have to go with Karen Carpenter. Oh, Stu, I'm sorry. That's the incorrect answer. Trish, what you got for us?
I'm gonna go with Kim Gordon.
All right, let's check that answer. Kim Gordon. Do we have a Kim Gordon? Yes, and that means you're our new Wordzoid champion, Trish. Dale, tell Trish what she's won. Trish, you've won a copy of 2 stories, a memoir of faith and mental illness. Handwritten, hand-drawn, and handed to you by artist and writer Joshua Kemble. But wait, that's not all. You've also won a copy of Jacob's Apartment, the story of a doomed romance. What happens when you take eternal sunshine out of the spotless mind and put it in a blender with Ghost World? You get Jacob's Apartment, written and illustrated by Joshua Kemble. Trish, thank you for playing Wordzoid.
All right, great job, Trish.
I was told I was gonna get a lifetime supply of paper towels.
I love that one. There's some funny stuff happening in chats. Philip's taking off. Have a good one, Philip. Thanks for stopping by. What else? Frank, it's 3 for him, and it's 1 for Anna. And Frank's apparently in the future. That's what Anna was saying. And then there is some Back to the Future references of hoverboards and all sorts of fun stuff like that. Awesome. Okay, this is going to be him saying, I thought you were feeling better. I want your opinion on this. Back when I was subbing, and I think this is funny, there was a school I would sub at all the time, and one of the students would call me Kermit the Frog because they thought my voice sounded like Kermit the Frog. And I didn't really notice that until, I have been told that before, that I sound a little bit like Kermit the Frog. I want to know your opinions. Do I sound like Kermit the Frog? Because I'm not saying the frog, I think he says Kermit the Frog. But I have been told this. Anna was saying, can you do the voice? The voice, Josh. I think it's just my regular voice. Somebody said I sound like Kermit the Frog. I don't know. You tell me if they're crazy. Okay, so here is that song. Let me make sure it's nice and loud. Okay, I'm going to play you guys a trailer of that while I work on this rough. So here is song 1 for the next album with one verse kind of half done, and all the music. So it's half of a verse vocally and then all the music. And I'm going to probably get more of the vocals done tomorrow.
Out of millions of people, we're a dot in the data. The landscape is filled with populations and stratas, but you're more than number to me.
And that's all I have for vocals on it. All right, so that was the song. Nice. Frank said the rhythm's catchy, and Anna said the way it picks up with the guitar is nice. Kind of a chill, dramatic flair to it. Thanks. Yeah, I liked it. I think the next album might be a little more shoegazy, but we'll see. Because the last one I thought was going to be more kind of punk, and then it ended up all over the place. Like, so because of the way I record these, it's really just kind of whatever inspiration kind of leads to, which has been pretty fun. I'm very methodical with my comic work and stuff, so it's fun to have a form of art where I'm being a little more playful and just kind of letting interesting things happen. It's been pretty enjoyable, actually. So okay, this is going to be that thing. There's like a line kind of okay, yeah, and then this will kind of go across, and then this is her kind of saying this, so that'll be here, and then we'll do our shading and stuff just to kind of make it a little more clear what is going on. What is going on? Why do they call it Victorian era? That was my Seinfeld, guys. Why do they call him a running back when he's running forward? Okay, we're getting there, guys. There's going to be all that cool floor texture stuff. Doesn't matter. Okay, let's get the details that matter. Are kind of like the staging, the posing, the acting, the lighting. That's what we kind of want to get worked out here. I like the idea of him being, maybe we have him like more kind of shrouded in darkness just to exaggerate his displeasure. And then Sophie's here. Or sorry, Elizabeth. Sophie is not in this scene. My brain. Okay, here we go. And it says darkness. Exactly. It's just so goth, this whole thing. But yeah, there's a guitar I got last year. It's a rosewood Telecaster from Guitars Garden, from a Firefly, and it's probably at this point maybe my favorite guitar. I got a 7-string recently too. That's really fun and gets some really interesting like dark chuggy riffs, but I keep going back to that rosewood Telly, which is bizarre because I think I might even like it more than my Fender Telly, which is wild. I guess Anna looked into it and said, I can do the voice. She said, I can pull it off. I sound like I could pull off Kermit. Nice. I think somebody with free time should just redo all my live streams with Kermit the Frog doing them. I think that would be wildly successful. It's like this, but in this screen here, you just see Kermit the Frog doing the stuff that I'm doing. Then you see this little Muppet hand going, like drawing. Like, it'd be amazing. Yeah, Anna was saying then you could become a Kermit VTuber. I should do one live stream as Kermit. That'd be fun. See if I can pull it off. Okay, what do we got here? Okay, stay focused here. Stay focused. That was me talking to myself there. Okay, so for the ladies, and then this was the hip hop line. For the ladies. For the ladies. how many. Now you have to remember the whole reason they were traveling to this part of Rome was for her to feel better, feel less sick, right? And then Sophie is convincing Elizabeth, because Elizabeth was feeling incredibly sick. That's why they traveled for the weather. In that cattle cart, the ox pulled cart, and so it's just kind of a little. I'm sure, like thinking about Robert's position here, right? They just did all this travel so that she'll feel better, and then he finds out that Sophie had her host like a little tea party, and it's like that's not relaxing and recuperating. That's gonna make you feel more sick, you know. So justifiably, he's a little concerned, you know. And then we've got his ear here. I think I'm going to have his expression more upset. Do-ba-do-do-do-do. And this is her saying, Sophie thought it would do good. Sophie thought any party involving ladies is stressful, Anna said. Well, especially in high society, right? You know, all the gossip and, you know, pomp and circumstance. Very loose, rough drawing here, okay? This is going to be her other hand. Victorian dress kind of thing going. And then this will be the side of the couch. Shaboom, shaboom, shaboom. Here's the table we just saw. Here's the bottom of the couch. Corner. Do 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 do. Do ba do boo 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 boo. And then we've got this is gonna go back here. I see one of those lights. This will be those lines of that. It's going to be kind of doing those things. Okay. And then we'll just shade it so that that's all kind of in perspective. Telling you guys, like, today has been a battle to get through, you know, usually thumbnails like this where it's like not crazy crowd scene or a complicated, like it's a background I've already worked out. You know, usually they wouldn't take this long, but telling you, just today is I'm very proud that I showed up. I think I said this at the top of the stream. I knew this one was going to be a bit of a struggle, right? It was definitely one of those nights of like, ugh, you know. Do you guys ever have those? Okay. So there we go. We've got that. Sophie thought it would do me good. And then this is Robert saying, ah. And this was going to be Wilson. So Wilson's going to be walking in. Wilson's walking in with her cool hair. Wilson has short hair, but it kind of goes to the side. So that'll be Wilson. She's got her hat, her cap that kind of goes like this. Cap usually has a thing. Here she's going to be balancing a tray. Her arm is going to, she's wearing her kind of maid outfit type thing. But it's her Italian maid outfit. Like, so Wilson has like 2 costume changes so far in the story. Because she's a maid, so she's still kind of wearing like maid, you know, uniforms and stuff. But she wears a kind of more proper British maid uniform at the beginning, and then from there, when they transition to Italy, which is at about like page 60 or 50, you'll notice that her costume changes. So that is her Italian costume. And then this is Robert saying, ah. And he's looking distraught at the laudanum bottle. This was actually a pretty good little gesture here. And we're doing some pretty scribbly stuff here, but that's kind of okay. That's what a rough is for. It's that outfit. His hand's going to be kind of here holding the bottle. This is just going to be Elizabeth. Hand over her head. And then let's just make sure we're getting this right. Okay, these are Robert's legs. Okay. And then this will be... I might need to clarify this a little more when it goes to final, but whatever. Because there are a few kind of tangential type things, but I think I can kind of fix those in post. Or in... Yeah, whatever. In something, guys. In something. These are coming this way, so these would be going this way. She's gonna have those beams. And then some of those lights. Okay. Cool. And we'll just get all our staging. I think she's way too small in the background there, but I still think it works for the rough, so we're going to keep it. Because she's like 1,000 miles away in that picture. Oh, it was a little too free with the shading. Anna was saying, if I had a penny for every time her costume changes, I would have 2 pennies. Yeah. If you had a penny every time the costume changes for Elizabeth, you might have like a whole $1 at this point in the script. And then with Robert, you might have like maybe 10, 15 cents. And so with Elizabeth, you'd have like $1. Robert, you'd have 10 or 15 cents. And with Wilson, you'd have 2 cents. All right, guys. That is one step closer. One step closer. One step beyond. Little ska for you guys. All right. Is that not showing? That's weird. Like if I go down, doesn't go down? There we go. Okay, there's just a little lag there. All right. Wilson enters with a light supper on a tray, and then she's setting the tray down. Oh, you guys. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is so exciting. We might actually be done. Almost. So let's finish this up. I shouldn't speak too soon because this will be the panel that takes like 10 years. And it should be a really quick one because this is just Wilson. She's putting the tray down. So we have tray going down. Arm here, arm here. Tray on table. Tray full of food. I will probably end up having to look up some Victorian foods. It would be funny if I put like a Happy Meal in there. What do you guys think? Should I sneak in a Happy Meal into the Victorian era historical fiction book? People are like, wait a minute. Wait a second. There weren't Happy Meals. It's like, oh yeah? And again, I'll just speak it with confidence and be like, no, there were Happy Meals in the Victorian times. They're like, I don't even think there were hamburgers yet. Nope, there were. All right, here we go. We've got this going. This is going to be the... I do like the idea of the new era of time where you can just speak confidently about things you know nothing about. You know, that's the times we're in, guys. Just speak with confidence, and whatever you say, it's just true, right? That's where we are, guys. All right. Okay. I think we're actually getting there. We're getting close to done. Don't like his hair here or his expression, so he looks like, oh, wow, like Goofy or something. I want him to actually be more pensive. There we go. He's going to be kind of almost disappointed. And then, whatever, his hair's here. See a little bit of his shoulder. And then Elizabeth. Is going to be looking over to her food. With her washcloth thing. And maybe she'll be sort of with her arm to the side. Like she's about to get up to eat, you know? And then we'll have this be the couch. This be the couch. What was it? Soft Pillow Bottoms, the pirate? The dreaded. Across the seas, he's dreaded as the most fierce pirate in the world. What be the pirate's name? Soft Pillow Bottoms. You guys need to make... Like, I'm too busy making this book, but if you have the time to make an epic pirate saga, the saga of Soft Pillow Bottoms, the pirate, his name be feared across the 7 seas. Yar, this be the couch of Soft Pillow Bottoms. Exactly. And I said that's how Google's AI has been working. It said some really dumb stuff confidently. Yep. This is the new era, new world we're in. Just whatever goes, just say it with confidence, you know? That's what George Washington said, right? Like Abraham Lincoln said in 1510, people are like, wait, Abraham Lincoln wasn't around in 1510. Yes, he was. Didn't you just say George Washington? No, I didn't. Okay, here we go. Okay, that indicates the floor enough. You guys hung out with me on a day where I did not want to do this. Okay? And I told you straight up at the beginning of this stream, like, this was going to suck. Like, it was going to be hard to get into it. And it was a bit of a slog to get into it, but I think it acts as kind of a proof in concept that if you get over the, I don't feel it kind of thing, right? And you start working, like, eventually you make progress. Might be slower progress, but it's still progress. And then you break through that cycle of not working, you know? I don't know. So anyhow, I'm saying you, and I don't mean you, I mean me. Meaning that's how it kind of works for me. But all right. Let's see here. Let me see if I can get this to show up so you can see the whole page. Let's see. Does that work? Did that work? have to kind of mess with the size here so that we can kind of look. Does that show you the... There we go. Boom. There's the whole page, guys. So, we finished it. Okay, so I'm going to print this and call it a day for the stream. I appreciate all of you guys who showed up, who support my streams, who hang out and do art and creative stuff. And thanks for helping me get over the hurdle. Thanks for being the night gang too. I know that this was a late night stream, but I will probably be streaming later today. And it's probably going to be much later today because I have a bunch of homework to do later in the today day because it's 1:40 something in the morning. So I'm going to go crash, sleep, and then we'll get back to it. But thank you guys for just always kind of hanging in there with me. And it's going to be fun to see where this goes and get more progress done. So I appreciate you guys. I will see you on the next one. Make sure you've hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get notifications when we're going to go live. And with that, I will see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to crumble!
I'm Joshua Kemble, and welcome to Joshua Kemble's live stream. I've been a freelance illustrator and graphic designer for over 20 years. I was an art director for 9 years. And when I'm not art directing and working on illustrations and graphic designs, I'm working on comic books and graphic novels, and that's usually what I do during my streams. And while conversations can go all over the place on this stream, from spicy and entertaining to goofy and silly, one thing stays consistent throughout every stream. I'll always be working on art. So pull up a chair, get your art supplies out, and get ready for an entertaining show that'll keep you company while you work on your own personal art projects. This is Joshua Kemble's Art Stream.